Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, I want to talk about DeFi on Bitcoin. Will it make a change? Well, it's about to happen because the very first project that is meant to bring decentralized finance to Bitcoin is here. So I'm going to talk about who it is and what this means for Bitcoin. And also talk about what else is going on in the world of crypto. So let's get started. Thanks for tuning in. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there. I know today is not a fun day. Overall, things are not moving in the right direction, but we have crawled back up slightly. I gave you guys a couple of theories why Bitcoin dipped today. We had a full moon, and we have the Bitcoin conference, which is going on in Miami. And every time we seem to have a Bitcoin conference, there seems to be a little bit of a dip. So you choose one or the other, or it could be because of this coming week. So let's start with that. So this week, there's a couple economic reports that are coming out. Not big ones, but since today is Monday, we had a holiday. So the week is going to start catching up really quickly, starting from tomorrow. There is Home Builders Index, which is coming out. Basically, what are the home builders saying? Is there a slowdown? Is there acceleration? Are the costs going up? There's a lot of indications that the cost is going up because the price of lumber is going up. And I saw an article, it has to do with a lot of tariffs being placed on lumber coming from Canada, of all places. Interesting. So we'll get some kind of, hint of whether or not homes are still hot. And then there's on Thursday, there's initial jobless claims, which shows how many people are going on unemployment, and existing home sales, which measures how many homes were sold. So there's a couple things coming up. So we'll see how they are. I was looking at the Dow futures, NASDAQ futures, kind of flat at this point. So it's unknown. I think most traders, Wall Street traders, are kind of again, trying to see what the numbers are and then react to it. They're still being very, very reactive right now, while us Bitcoin and crypto holders, we are not panicking and we are simply holding because we know we're on the right track. So there's a couple of things coming up this week. So we'll see tomorrow what things, how things transpire. But let's talk about a few other things that's going on with Bitcoin. First of all, I mentioned about that conference. I was looking at it. I didn't see anything that really came out that was shocking or mind-blowing or anything like that. There is one company that is going to offer the very first 30-year mortgage with crypto. This company called Milo. Never heard of them before. No down payment and adjustable by the customer. I don't know what that is all about, but it does seem like, yes, mortgages is coming, so that's pretty positive for those of you guys that have made some tremendous wealth with Bitcoin and crypto, and now you want to mortgage a house. A little bit safer using Bitcoin and crypto as collateral versus borrowing against it to pay for a house, or maybe pay for a mortgage, I guess, or a partial payment of a house. So this is the only thing I found. I didn't find anything else that came out that was very, very, very interesting, unless you guys found it. But it seems like this conference is more about, services and DeFi, more so than just about Bitcoin. At least to me, that's what it seems like. Again, if you guys found anything else that's very interesting, you let me know. But this is pretty much the only thing I saw. So not too much excitement going on, but this is just the first day. There's 2 other days. We'll see what gets announced. Now, outside of this, you still have whales that's still buying. For example, $59.5 million worth of Bitcoin just got transferred out of Coinbase into an unknown wallet. You know why it's unknown? Because it's going to some cold wallet belonging to an institution or whale, and it will never come back to the exchanges. This is how it is. This is why exchanges keeps dropping. Their reserves keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. And I have something interesting to show you guys about that. So there's still a lot of accumulation going on right now. Olajuwon is the true GOAT. If 90% of Bitcoin is mined already, how can the price of BTC ever go up when there's no Bitcoin on exchanges? Well, think about it. As that number goes down and down and down and down, it's going to get more and more scarce and more people will want it. They're going to pay more for it. That's how it's going to go up. That's how it's going to go up. So it just comes down to supply and demand. And take a look at this. I know you guys have heard Michael Saylor say a lot of things, but this to me really sums up things really well. So let me play this real quick. I've heard Michael Saylor say a lot of things, but this to me
with
really
every other
sums up
asset
things,
on earth, anything
really
else you
well.
can
So let me
own,
play this real
houses,
quick.
gold,
Heard Michael
silver,
Saylor say a lot of
commodities,
things,
stocks,
but
bonds. When the price goes
with
up,
every other
the
asset
supply
on Earth,
increases.
anything else you can
If I
own,
increase the
like
price
houses,
of any
gold,
stock by a
silver,
factor of 10,
commodities,
the company
stocks,
issues more
bonds.
stock.
Of course.
When the Bitcoin's the only thing in the world that's inelastic to price. If the price of Bitcoin triples, you can't make any more. If the price goes up by a factor of a million, you can't make any more. With inelastic to price. If the price of Bitcoin triples, you can't make any more. If the price goes up by a factor of
There we go. All right, got rid of the echo. Oh shoot, I have to play that again. I messed that up. I'm gonna play it one more time. One more time.
every other asset on earth, anything else you can own, houses, gold, silver, commodities, stocks, bonds, when the price goes up, the supply increases. If I increase the price of any stock by a factor of 10, the company issues more stock.
Of course.
Bitcoin's the only thing in the world that's inelastic to price. If the price of Bitcoin triples, you can't make any more. If the price goes up by a factor of a million, you can't make any more.
Okay. Hopefully no echo the second time. I think I fixed it. I apologize. But it really comes down to supply and demand. This is the ultimate thing that drives Bitcoin up or down, right? And like what Michael said, there is nothing on earth that can't be inflated with more. Nothing. Stocks, gold, whatever, silver, there could always be more. Oil, you could argue maybe there's a set supply, but there's a lot more waiting to be discovered. I mean, everything has more except Bitcoin, right? And take a look at this response from Peter Schiff, which it seems like he can't counter this. So this is actually a pretty good answer, not a trollish answer. So Peter Schiff answers, maybe so, but they can make an infinite number of altcoins that could do anything Bitcoin can, except in most cases do it better, faster, and cheaper. So basically Peter Schiff, to me, sounds like he has no counter to what Michael said, because yes, gold and silver and everything else can be inflated more except Bitcoin. So now he's arguing that altcoins can replace Bitcoin, right? But here's the thing, altcoins are made for different purposes. They're not store values like Bitcoin, right? So I could see how you can make that argument, and maybe that one day we'll get an altcoin that is a true store value like Bitcoin, okay? But right now there is none. So I mean, this is really what we need to worry about, right? Supply and demand, and this is why I show you guys all the metrics about supply decreasing from the exchanges, about liquid supply going up, and this article kind of sums up everything I've shown before. First of all, this article is telling you all the reasons why Bitcoin is going to flip and why you should stay in it. First thing is the fear and greed index. I have mentioned this and showed this graph before many times about Bitcoin fear. You know, whenever there's extreme fear and there's a clump of it, that's usually when Bitcoin turns around and rallies. And you can see right now where we are, big clumps of fear, just like at 40,000, even more so, and just like 30,000 and 28,000. So there's that. But the other things I've just mentioned about supply and demand, well, look at this. Bitcoin holders net position, well, that's that yellow line. Regardless of Bitcoin coming down, it keeps going up. So holders are buying more and continue to hold. This is reserves, and Bitcoin reserves on exchanges continues to drop. And liquid supply, which is the red line, continues to go up despite Bitcoin's price coming down. The liquid supply is basically anything off the exchanges not being traded, just being held, keeps going up. And this one is a new one, entity adjusted dormant flow, which measures how much Bitcoin was spent versus how much is just being held and not moved and not used and not spent. Well, it's nearing that all-time low. And every time we near that all-time low mark, guess what? Bitcoin rallies up, right? So, comes to the supply and demand, and I've been showing you guys a lot of this because that's what's happening right now, okay? A lot of supply being removed, being taken away, being bought, and whales, institutions, companies, not everyone is as public or they announce things like MicroStrategy. No, in fact, most do not announce it like that. And that's what's happening right now. The metrics are showing that. It's measuring it, right? So, short-term volatility, some whales, some fear, some panic, some liquidations, right? That's causing short-term price fluctuations of volatility, but we always get through it because ultimately what really matters is supply and demand, and there's a lot more demand right now than supply, and will continue to do so in the foreseeable future. All right, so there's that. Now, what about DeFi? Okay, now we know DeFi is a driving force among altcoins. In fact, if you look at CMC right now, the one that is up almost double digits is Cardano. And why is it up nearly double digits? Well, like I said, Sunday Swap is about to go live in 2 days or 3 days, excuse me. And it's a DeFi project. And it's going to lock in a lot of liquidity inside its liquidity pools and basically give users something to look forward to. Just like all the other projects out there that have done tremendously well in 2021, like Ethereum and Binance Coin and Solana and Terra and Avalanche and Polygon, arguably the only reason they went up is because of the popularity of DeFi. I know there's other reasons, VC involvement, retail FOMO, NFT collections, but I would argue that DeFi is the number one driving force of why all of these went up by hundreds of percent to thousands of percent to tens of thousands of percent in 2021. But what about Bitcoin? Because you have a group of Bitcoiners or Bitcoin maxis, well, that says, like, kind of like what Peter Schiff said, that all these DeFi projects and everything else is diluting away from Bitcoin. We need to have DeFi on top of Bitcoin, right? That will be a game changer, and maybe, and we are about to get it. We are about to get it. First of all, let me introduce you to a project called Stacks, which is basically smart contracts on top of Bitcoin. Okay, it's another layer that kind of integrates tightly with Bitcoin and allows dapp makers to program utilizing smart contracts that's on top of Bitcoin and is secured by Bitcoin, utilizing the Bitcoin network. So we have Stacks. This project has been out for a while. And if you look through it, there's not that many dapps. There's a few out there. Many are just still being built. There's not a lot finished projects, but we have the very first one now, at least parentheses first, and I'll get to that why. We have the very first DeFi project that is now launching on Stacks for Bitcoin, and it is called Alex. Now, Alex raised close to $6 million recently to bring DeFi to Bitcoin. So it's a very hyped up project. A lot of people are very hopeful for it. And basically, this is what it is. Next gen DeFi on Bitcoin via Stacks. And it gives you all the things that traditional DeFi project gives you. Lending and borrowing with fixed rates, okay? There's also going to be a DEX so that you can actually trade between Bitcoin and other coins via DEX, not via centralized exchange. There's going to be yield farming and Launchpad. So it's an all-in-one DeFi app that's going to be built on top of stacks for Bitcoin. This is coming. This is coming. Right? So if you launch app, the only thing right now available is Launchpad. This is what I see. And it looks like it's a Launchpad for themselves right now. But there's no timeline on when all these other things are coming out. I just know that they launched today. But in terms of lending, borrowing, the DEX, and yield, that may be a little bit later because the only thing I see right now is Launchpad. But it's getting there. It's getting there. So will this change Bitcoin? Will it bring Bitcoin up to the next level, and will it propel Bitcoin upwards? Well, if this is a success, I have to say yes. Why wouldn't it? It done so well. DeFi has done so well for all the other L1s out there, right? And take a look. You have what, 235 billion of TVL locked in from the DeFi projects. And this includes Ethereum, Terra, Binance, Smart Chain, Avalanche, all the big players, right? And I have done so well for them. Why couldn't it do well for Bitcoin, right? If we get enough people to actually utilize it and lock in more Bitcoin, and we know Bitcoin is already so scarce, imagine that. You have so many holders that's already holding. You have so many whales that are still buying. And now you have people that's going to lock Bitcoin in even more because they're earning yield from it. I mean, that's a recipe for success, right? So it is starting. It's still early. There's no way it could compete with the robust DeFi ecosystem of all the other chains right now, but it is starting. It is starting, and it is very significant. Now, I put asterisks first, okay, or air quotes first, because there is one other project that claims they are DeFi on Bitcoin, and that's Sovryn. I've been asked about this before, and I'm glad they changed their website because before it was just like one big comic book kind of website, but they claim they do the same thing. You could trade, you could lend, you could borrow, you could yield farm, you could even margin trade, and you could stake, and this is supposedly all on Bitcoin. And I decided to look, and I'm like, wow, it's pretty impressive. They already have a lot of stuff. For example, they have 10,600 BTC that's locked up in here. That's impressive, $446 million. And if you look at it, you can lend, you can borrow, you can yield farm, okay? But here's the thing. I'm looking at yield farming, I'm like, why is it all, RBDC? Why is it not just BTC, right? Why is it a synthetic version of BTC? Then I started doing some research. Sovryn is actually utilizing Ethereum virtual machine for a smart contract. Sovryn's built on this platform that is EVM compatible, yet it hooks up in Bitcoin in some manner where it's kind of like bridging it, which is why you have synthetic Bitcoins. And technically, yes, it does involve Bitcoin, but this is not running on Bitcoin's network, nor is it running smart contracts from stacks that's integrated with Bitcoin's network. So you kind of have Sovryn that's claiming to be the first, but they're not really in there, okay? But there is something. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I mean, overall, DeFi is hot. And it's a driving force of crypto right now, and everyone wants a piece. Can it make a difference for Bitcoin? I would say certainly if they can execute. There's a lot of pressure on Alex because they claim their very first DeFi project. Can they execute? They certainly had the funding to do so. But if they could make a really nice looking DEX, right? For example, they have some pictures over here, like something like this. You could make a really cool DEX just like Uniswap, or QuickSwap, or PancakeSwap, or any of the other swaps out there, Trader Joe, whatever it may be. If they can make it as good, if not better, well, I'd say a ton of Bitcoin people are going to use it. Not even Bitcoin maxis. I mean, just people that have Bitcoin in general, right? Why wouldn't you want to use it? So, pretty exciting stuff. All right, the last thing I just want to talk about is I do have a new article on CryptosRUs.com. I've been talking a lot about Anchor, and I showed you guys how to use it, and this is earning about 20% with Terra USD. Some people still do not get it. So I had my team write up a how-to guide. It is on CryptosRUs. It goes through step by step by step by step by step. In case you are still interested in learning and you just don't know how to, go to CryptosRUs.com. It is right there for your reading. All right. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. I mean, still, I noticed in the comments a lot of ADA fans support and a lot of ADA haters, and I think it's natural because today really the only thing that anyone's talking about is Cardano because it's the only thing that's in the green right now. But I've created so many videos about it. I talked about it this morning. I talked about it a few days ago, right? A lot of eyes on Cardano. Can Sunday Swap perform? Can they come out with a working DEX and liquidity pools? And if so, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to change things completely for Cardano. And we're going to see a lot more DEXs that's utilizing smart contracts, and it will be operational and bring a lot more TVL to a Cardano. And, you know, I made this example before, but this is the most recent project that came out with a very hyped up DEX, and that is Elrond. And I don't know where Elrond is anymore, but all right, right here, right? I remember when Elrond came out with their Mayor DEX, which is a DEX that they built from the ground up by the team. Instantly, in one day, they attracted $1.2 billion worth of value, and it was locked in after day one. That's after 1 day. So DeFi and AMMs and yield pools, they definitely do help drive in value. So let's see what happens. Okay, outside of that, that's it. Let's do some Q&A. Steven says, love the DeFi streams. Keep it coming. You know, I'm really fascinated with DeFi. I love it now, right? I'm still a newbie because there are a lot of stuff that's going on in DeFi. But it's fascinating. It's interesting. And my only regret is not getting in earlier. But, you know, taking a look at all the major DeFi projects, I mean, they all really came, I guess, came to be or became popular within the last 6 months. So still plenty of time to learn and pick things up, right? Crypto Luigi says, I posted my wife as collateral. Collateral for what? DJ Flexa says, Stacks is going to boom. Stacks has been doing well. They had a really good 2021. Let's see where they are now. I mean, they're 2.6 billion. I mean, they're doing well. Maybe not from all-time high, but let's take a look. I mean, take a look in 2021. Basically, starting in 2021, they were at 49 cents. Okay, 40 cents. So they went from 40 cents to $2. That's not too shabby, but you can see that they have pumped up. Had a couple pumps, and then now they're a little bit higher. But 2.6 billion. I mean, if they can really, you know, bring in DeFi and all future DeFi projects on top of Bitcoin is running on Stacks, yeah, I would say Stacks is going to be absolutely huge. Okay, I'm sure there's going to be other competitors come out that will execute smart contracts on top of Bitcoin, but right now the only player in the game is Stacks. So, what else is there? Tom says, I'm out of fiat in caps. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Tom. It's okay. You could just continue to hold it, or you could continue to I don't know, not continue, but maybe you could find a side hustle or something like that, right? Complement your current income and utilize that to DCA. Let's see. Total value strap, TVS. All right. Let's see here. Michael Parker, hey George, huge fan, your inspiration to many, thank you. What are your thoughts on IrisNet and dapp radar? Dapp radar is just a dapp radar. It just tells you about dapps, right? This IrisNet sounds very familiar. I wonder if it's the same thing. Let's see. Interchain NFT hub between public blockchains and consortium blockchains. NFT hub. Incorporation of service-oriented infrastructure into Cosmos. Integration of business services. Okay, interoperability. Okay. So their DeFi project within the Cosmos ecosystem to bring NFTs and possibly AMM. That's what it looks like. And a bridge between Ethereum and whatever this CosWasm VM. I don't know too much about it. Can't really say much. I'll just say maybe. Do I own a Bored Ape NFT? I really want to get one. I don't even know what the floor price is. I mean, I think they're all like $200,000-$300,000 now. I don't know if I can fork up that much for a Bored Ape, but maybe. One of my new I Am George NFTs, I'll probably make it look like a Bored Ape or something. Remember, ADA is consistently in the top 10 without smart contracts, but now it's moving slowly. I mean, I made that argument. I don't know if you got that from me, but I said it's really amazing that Cardano could stay in the top 10 even without TVL and without DeFi. But it's about to get it. So if you think about how impressive that is. Why is Sol so cheap right now? People move to ADA? Not really. I don't think Sol people sold to buy ADA. But I do think Sol's a little bit more stagnant because, first of all, it did have a tremendous run up in 2021. And second of all, I think I'm theorizing. I know that Solana has quite a large amount of tokens sold or coins sold to VCs. And I've even shown videos, Chamath and his guys, his buddies have talked about, dumping Solana because they made a lot of money, right? But if you look at it, there's a large amount going to VC. So I'm wondering if they are selling off more now because they've made so much and because of uncertain economic times. So that could be it. And part of that, it could be, people are switching to Cardano, but I don't think people need to be panicking about Solana because it is still sitting at 44 billion and number 7, where Cardano was just 2 days ago. Cardano was at 7 for a very long time. All right, let's see if I missed anything. I sent some sold to KuCoin. Why is it taking so long to deposit? It shouldn't. Not over 2 hours, unless there's some kind of maintenance with KuCoin or something. Fear and Greed Index, I've talked about that already. It's still around the same, 24. But whenever you got a big clump of fear, you could see it, right? How it correlates exactly with Bitcoin. And you could see all the dips that we had before, all extreme fear, right? And when the more extreme fear clumps that you have, well, the more likely that it's a bottom and it's about to turn up, right? So that's what it's looking like right now. You should try to get Michael Saylor on your show for an interview, bring him to Dark Side of Vaults. I think that may be the reason why. I've asked before and I had talked to one of his people, but I think one of the reasons why he doesn't is probably because I'll ask him about altcoins. I think, like I said, I theorized this about Michael and it's slowly coming true. Because at very first, he was Bitcoin maxi and he was very against lending, right? And I said, you know what? He's going to get into it. Like, he's sitting at such a large pile of Bitcoin. Why would you not lend it out and collect interest, right? And I said that like last year. And then this year, or maybe later last year, he announced, oh, he'll be open to it. I bet you he's talking to, BlockFi or whoever, Celsius or whatever, with, possibilities of doing that. But I think he's going to come around to DeFi. I think so. And I think he's going to come around to L1s and network protocols. I mean, his main reason is, regulations, uncertainty. Maybe the SEC goes after everyone, right? Could be like that. But we know that a lot of the regulatory bodies now, they're looking at stable coins. They're looking at how stable coins can operate along with a digital USD. I mean, there's a lot of talks about how things could coexist, right? So I think eventually he's going to come around. I do think so. Why is Cardano not listed on Binance and Coinbase yet? You go tweet them and ask them. Terry, thank you. Omi Dex, I told you about yesterday. Today, Telos is up 50%. Well, congratulations. If you got in, good for you. Good for you. Why is it going sideways so long? I thought 39.5 a capitulation for spring back and 50. Why? I can't answer that. I don't think you can either. What do you think about BiFi? That sounds weird. Beefy Finance or BiFi? I think I heard of Beefy Finance before, but yeah, I don't have thoughts on either one. Let's see here. What happened to BTT? Like I said, I don't trust anything within the Tron ecosystem. They have to get a new leader now that Justin steps aside. I think he stepped aside. I don't know if he did already, but they need to find a new leader. What did I miss here? What do you think about DCA into the VVS? I don't like VVS. There's a lot of people that keep asking me about VVS, but I don't like it. I know it's the first AMM on Kronos chain, but this is why I don't like it. Look at this. Look at this. There's no reason for a token to be like this other than to be a meme coin. And they're not an NFT project. And the max supply and the total supply is ridiculous, and the circulating supply is only 2%. So whatever you see right now is 2% of the total supply, and the total supply is still only 1/3 of the max supply that could ever be. So the token economics of VVS is horrendous. So I really don't like it. I don't. Do you think it's early for Web 3.0? That could be a driving force. I saw this from Gary Vee, and I'm going to steal this from him, and I'm just going to paraphrase. But think about what's going on right now, okay, with crypto. You have Web 3.0, primarily led by DeFi. And when you explain DeFi to people, they just don't get it. I mean, really, if you explain to average Joe what DeFi is, they really don't get it. You explain what NFTs are, they don't really get it, right? There's just a lot of stuff going on. All the lending and borrowing that's available, the staking that's available, powering a network, having decentralized governance, getting the power back to the people, controlling your own digital data and ID, all this stuff, right? That is being built right now. It sounds so damn confusing. And if you explain to the average person, they really don't get it. But here's the thing. You look at when the internet was first created. It was the same thing. When people talked about e-commerce and doing commerce online, that blew people's minds away. What is the internet? I don't get it. Why do you have these pages? Where are they being stored? How do you get online? What is an email? How do you get an email client to send email to people, right? And how can you possibly do all the things that people imagined it could do? One day you can trade stocks on it, and you can have apps on your phone, and all these things that people didn't understand when the internet came out. That sounds exactly like right now. And imagine getting into internet and these internet companies and the internet wave before they got big. Well, you'll be a billionaire today, right? And it's kind of the same thing with what's going on. There's a lot of confusion, and I think a lot of ideas out there, and the execution is the greatest. User access and ease of access and stuff like that isn't the greatest. But imagine when it is great, when all these things are great. Well, that's when all these projects could be sky high and could transform everything that we know, right? So I thought about this thing that Gary Vee said, and I'm like, it makes so much sense. Right now, there's a lot of confusion. We're trying to figure it out, but it's the same thing when the internet came out, right? With all the promises and everything, and people just didn't see it, didn't get it, and just look at where we are now, right? So it's really a transformation from like Web 1 to Web 2, and now we're going to Web 3. All right. I think that's it. Let me make sure. If I didn't miss anything. What's the Sand's top potential based on market cap in 2022? I don't know, Dustin. Sandbox, if they continue to execute and they become a decentralized version of Minecraft, they're going to be enormous. That's what they're trying to be right now, right? It's still in alpha. It's not fully open yet, but once they do, could be absolutely enormous. So let's just put it that way. VLX. What's VLX? Sounds very familiar. Valas. I have no idea, Dirt Rider. I'm sorry. Mentioned about VVS already. Can Solstice become the next Decentraland? They're backed by big investors. Possibly. Everyone's trying to become the next Decentraland. All I know right now is Decentraland is so slow. It needs to upgrade. But I mentioned about Pavia for Cardano, and Solus could be it for Solana. I'd never heard of them before, or maybe I have. Let's bring it up real quick. Solus, Metaverse, the first cross-platform VR meta chain on Solana, but it is VR. I don't like VR, but yeah, I think I've seen this before. Animoca is really involved in a lot now. Can it become Decentraland? Only time will tell. It's a little bit early, but they do seem like they have good backers. What are your thoughts on Avalanche? I like Avalanche. I think they're still growing. They have a lot of stuff on board in terms of DeFi, and that is one of the reasons why they're the biggest performers of 2021. So I like them a lot. If a lot of VC is bad, wouldn't low be great? Yeah. ADA has like almost no VCs. Before, when I used to look up VCs, I'm like, why doesn't any VC bought ADA? I don't know. I still don't know. Can you check out Gerald? The Gerald wallet is about to release. That's probably the reason why it's up. I just saw something about Gerald wallet that's about to be released on some exchange or something. But obviously, yeah, this doesn't look like it's legit pump. Obviously, some big groups probably pumped it up and came back down. But it's one of the wallets for Cardano, if I'm not mistaken. But there was something about, there was a big release that was coming tomorrow or something like that. So that's probably the reason why. I think Bullish Steve says Charles kind of turned him down. He's very strategic. Maybe. Not maybe. Okay, I'll just take your word for it. I don't know if that's the reason or not, but I do know that Cardano has very little VC involved. All right, guys. Yeah, don't forget DeFi Kingdom's coming to Avalanche. Yup. And all jewel holders will be airdropped a new token. And I forgot what the new token is, but you'll get airdropped with this. So that's another benefit to hold all your jewels right now and not sell it. So big benefit, big benefit. What's up with VeChain? There's a lot of stuff going on with VeChain. They're building out their DEXs, their DEXs, their DeFi ecosystem. And 2022 could be very good for them. Could be good. Blocktopia, well, it's another metaverse. 21 floors. A lot of brands is getting involved with it, right? It's very hyped up. It's very hyped up, but I don't know how good it is. I'm just curious what it is at now. Blocktopia. What is it at right now? It's okay. Still relatively small, but I don't believe they're out yet. I may be mistaken, but last time I checked, they were not out yet. So could be interesting. Could be interesting. I mean, everyone, like right now, everyone's trying to become the next Decentraland, right? Whether they actually get that momentum and traction, it's unknown at this point, really. Sandbox is the closest one, and arguably they have a little bit more traction than even Decentraland at this point. But all these others are all trying to compete, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Bye-bye.